And we are live. You can catch us on Rumble and YouTube. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll be right back with you, Howlers. We'll be right back. How's over Baz? I'm Jacob Casas.
I'm Rico Savage.
And today we have a very special guest. I'm going to let her introduce herself. Danielle, if you can introduce yourself to our audience.
It's been so long since I'm here. Aloha, guys. I'm Danielle Cedar. Thank you for having me.
And just tell a little bit about who you are and what you do. Welcome back first.
Yes.
She's been on here. It was a long time, like a year ago.
I think the setup was even different. She was in the middle.
I was in the middle. I
probably-
was the head of the table. I was the queen of the table. Yeah, that was September 2023. So if anyone remembers, I was here talking about Lahaina. I'm born and raised in California, but I moved to Maui when I was 21, and I built my life in Lahaina. And so I was there August 8th, 2023 for the fire. And then I came here, shared my story, just brought awareness of what was really going on out there. And since the fire, I relocated to Oahu. I'm managing Pakaloa Bikinis on the North Shore. So that's just what I've been doing. And in my spare time, I write books about my life.
So, yeah, before when she came on, she was actually coming out here to talk about her book previously. But then the fire happened. And so we ended up talking about the fire. So today we can get into your book. Mm-hmm. It's been, how long has it been? Like a year?
Since my book came out.
Since you came on the last time.
Since I came here, it was last September. So 14 months ago.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So and that's the last time. I was in California last October. I took the kids to Disneyland after the fire. I was like, let's get the fuck out of here and just scream our heads off on some roller coasters.
How is everything now out there?
In Lahaina?
As far as the fire, how is the,
well,
what's the update? Like?
All residential properties have been cleared and ahead of schedule, and almost all commercial properties are almost all cleared. The permit process takes forever, even expedited, but we're getting the ball rolling. People are applying for permits, hiring contractors. It's still a long road, but it's like the ball is rolling. So
that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So we do these segments. I'm sure you see. They're called DNRs, dating and relationships, and your book's kind of on that.
I guess so. I mean, my book is based around drug addiction and alcoholism primarily.
Yeah, but it's dating.
I mean, there's betrayal.
If somebody asks, okay,
that's top of the
for sure lifetime episode for sure.
Oh, for sure. And it's like, I wrote this book for all of the loved ones of addicts, whether you're in a relationship with an addict or it's a sibling or a parent or a child. Like, I don't meet people very often who don't know what it's like to have a loved one as an addict. So I wrote this for the loved ones and to let them know, like, you're not alone and I know what you're going through. I know what it's like to be called the enabler, the codependent, like all of that. But there is betrayal for sure. And so I guess dating wouldn't be the first thing that comes to mind. Yeah, wouldn't be the first. Definitely being in a relationship with a narcissist or a master manipulator. That's definitely part of it.
We have a lot of conversations about that on our show, though, like on both ends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Was it what kind of addiction was it? Was it drug, alcohol, both?
Both. Heroin, meth, alcohol.
Damn.
Oh yeah, let's just go balls to the wall. Like,
yeah.
we don't have a little problem with weed. We don't have a little cocaine problem. Like, just go straight for the hardest stuff.
Yeah. That dude was meant for the streets.
How long were you guys together for?
I was 6 years of my life.
6 years?
Yes. And in the book, you'll see, like, I committed to jail. I committed to rehab. It's not my addiction, but I did not abandon this person. I committed to twiddling his thumbs for 23 days as he was in a coma over my birthday. Like
Yeah.
it's heavy shit.
Well, they say when you're with the addict, you become an addict in a certain type of way too. Like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and the story is he's addicted to drugs and alcohol, but I also face my own addictions. I'm addicted to love. I'm addicted to proving people wrong.
Yeah.
I'm addicted to the feeling of being needed. And so I had to face those. And the addiction of being needed, like it feels good to be needed, but it was becoming so toxic and unhealthy that I didn't realize it took a long time for me to figure out that my definition or my belief of love was if they need me,
love
then
you.
that must mean they're in love with me, which is totally false. And I'm working on that now, and even in my current relationship, like I'm always making sure, like, do you want me? Because I want to be wanted. I don't want to just be needed. Like a child needs me.
So you're always like questioning them, even
Not
like.
questioning him because he's very clear. He's like, no, I want you. Like I'm in love with
No, but I'm
you.
saying
you know?
I'm not saying because most of the time,
Yeah.
when we don't do something wrong, but in your head it's like, damn, does he really? Is it like one of those situations like where you're thinking that he's not like giving you what you want, but in reality he really is, but you're just going through something and it's in your head.
No, I don't think it's so much in my head like that. I mean, there's always the fear of rejection and abandonment in future relationships. I think we all have that.
Well, it's a little different because the
Because you're
girls that
already
we
with them, yeah.
the girls that we bring on though, it's the opposite. Like
Yeah.
they're not addicted to love; they're addicted to what's next. What's the next best thing for me? And we because we interview a lot of girls at a lot of different times. Their mentality is completely different. It is nothing like what you're talking
and
about.
You asked me to come on some of them, and I'm like, I
God.
don't know if I have like. I don't want to sit at this table and feel like I'm losing brain cells.
Well,
with
it
all of
goes-
Everybody's
that.
different. Everybody's
Yes.
different. Everybody has
But at the end of the day, it's not that they're different in what they're saying, but it's not that different.
Right.
Because what they're saying is almost the same shit. Like I literally we had a Christian girl on here to a porn star girl.
Yeah.
Their both needs are the same though. Like when it comes to show, like, they need attention constantly.
Right.
Or if they don't get it, it's like they freak out. They think that nobody loves them, nobody wants them, and they have to have constant attention on social media and everything. And it trips me out because that's what a lot of people. I mean, I don't know how Hawaii, but our area, like California, maybe it's a lot has to do with where we're at. But it's just a lot like that out here. Like from what you're saying, and I've seen you. I've seen how you are as a person, and you're different. Like how you act with people.
Yeah.
You have a different view on life. You know, and but a lot of these girls, they just look at it the same, and it's really not that different. It's just the way they sound, the way they carry themselves, and all that. But if you look between the lines, it's the same shit.
Right. It's like at the end of the day, we all want the same thing, but we all have different visions and views of like
Yeah.
how to
About
get
it.
there
Yeah.
or how you expect to get it.
Because most people don't think we're gonna go through this together. Like, okay, we committed to each other, and now we got to ride this out. Not saying what you did. I mean, you still wrote it out with him, and you tried and all that, and but he was just the wrong guy for that.
Oh yeah. I
Where-
mean, in the deception, like I said, I committed to him while he was still in jail. I committed to the rehab. I committed because he made me believe like that he was my forever and like he was my person. And so I was like, I'll go through the hardest shit if we're gonna make it on the other side. And then at the end of the day, it was like, oh, by the way, I'm not in love with you, and I never have been. But thanks for saving my life. And all else that goes on in the book too. I don't want to give too much, but
See, that's wild. See, the thing is, I see a lot of guys that get that shit.
What
like
part?
what basically what happened with you. Like,
I think.
but you got.
I
that.
think I mean, it's impossible almost not to like be around somebody that often. I'm pretty sure you guys were together like every day and went through a lot of stuff. It's pretty hard not to love somebody, but a man is not going to tell you that he needs you or I really did love you. Thank you for that shit. And I'm an asshole at the same time. We're not going to say that. So I'm pretty sure he did, but he's not going to let you know that because if he let you know that, then
Well, he literally told her though.
yeah, I know, but I
No,
mean,
there's guys that just will literally have you around for their own
Oh, yeah.
benefit.
oh yeah, I made his
He
life
was around-
very
exactly.
easy. I
And-
made
and
his
there's-
life very fucking
Oh,
comfortable.
for sure. Like, so even if he was, I mean, it's hard to hear that for somebody to say that to you. Like, I'm not in love with you anymore. That's gonna mess somebody up, especially when they're committed. They decided in their head they're gonna stay committed to that person. So that had to be like traumatizing in a sense.
Oh, I was blindsided. Like the first time he said, he was like, "I'm not in love with you," and I was like, "Wait, what do you mean?" And And I was like, yeah, you are. Because of also my belief of like, oh, well, if he needs me, then he must be in love with me.
yeah.
And I'm just going down the laundry list of like, I've done this for you. I did this for you. You're alive because of me because I never abandoned you. Like going down the list, like, no, you are in love with me. Like it was like almost like, I'm telling you, you're in love with me.
Yeah.
There's no other way. And because obviously that's the shock and the like you go into defense mode. Like your body, you're in such shock that your body goes into denial to protect yourself.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
How long was the relationship?
It's
It was
6
6
years?
years, yeah. But 3 of those years was jail and rehab. So no, I did not see him every day for 3 years. I would have to go visit him in jail, like.
So it's financially and mentally. Like.
Oh yeah, flying to a different island to go to jail, flying and coordinating and having to take drug tests of my own to visit him in rehab, like. I'm not the addict, but you still have to watch me pee to make sure I'm not smuggling in drugs
Yeah.
to the most intense rehab program on Oahu.
Yeah. See, he basically was just using you for having somebody there for him at that time.
Yeah.
People do that a lot.
Is he
too.
good now?
Yeah, but we don't care about him.
No, I was just
No,
wondering.
yes,
I mean,
yes,
no,
Because
yes.
he's thinking,
sober.
am I good?
no, is he good now? Like,
he's always
He is
always
sober.
I mean, because she's human. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure she's not like, damn, I want this motherfucker to die. I mean, because I mean.
Oh, absolutely, I did. You finished
Well,
reading the
I'm
book,
talking
you're
about
like, oh,
now.
yeah.
I mean,
She said yeah.
oh well, shit. I don't know about you. I mean, when you wish death upon people, I mean, it can come back 3 times folds. I mean,
I
be careful
let
what you
him
wish for.
know I don't want to be anywhere near him when that atomic bomb of karma drops on his ass. You cannot do what
Yeah,
you
for
did
sure.
to me
Yeah, for
and
sure.
live like a happy life. Like I believe in karma. And I believe it's fucking slow. But when it happens, it happens. Like, no, what he did to me was fucking malicious.
Right.
yeah. Well, when you commit yourself and put yourself all in on somebody, it is malicious. And when somebody does that, especially if he knows that you're doing it because you love him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then too, the reason why I asked that because forgiveness isn't for the person; it's for you. So you having that in you is you're basically giving him a part still in your life if you haven't like letting it go, if the anger is still there.
Yeah.
He's still winning at a certain point.
How are you? How do you feel now? I mean, we
That's
talked
why
before.
I
Yeah.
asked.
It's been time, and it's
Yeah.
actually a good idea to get into
No,
that.
there's definitely been a lot of stuff, and I'm glad you brought that up because for me personally, like forgiveness is the hardest thing.
For sure.
I think I need a different word. Like the word forgiveness and the definition that comes with it, it doesn't align with me.
I get you.
don't.
I
Because
get
to
you.
me, if I forgive you, then that makes what you did okay,
Okay,
and
yeah, I get what
acceptable,
you're- I
and
get what
it's
you're
not. So that's why I struggle with that.
Let
A
go.
lot
Let
has
it go.
happened,
Yeah.
and I sent him a text message recently, and it will be in my second book, but it is. I finally felt like my friends always joke like, "Oh, thank God you didn't get married, and thank God he left you, and all this stuff. Like, thank God I didn't end up with what I thought I wanted." And like we can say that, like, yeah, like thank God I dodged that bullet, but it takes a while to like truly fucking feel that.
Yeah.
And there was a day recently, it was probably like 6 months ago, where I was crying in the car and I just remember thinking like, thank God I have my life back. And I felt the impulse to text him in that moment, but I didn't. I wanted to think about it for like at least a month. And I went on a trip with some friends and I ended up texting him and I just let him know like, hey, I was like, I just want to say thank you for giving me my life back. As malicious and evil and conniving and heinous as you did it, like regardless, you let me go. And I let him know, like, you know, this text message doesn't mean I want to be friends with you because I don't, but I also don't want to hate you. And for like what you said, it's not for him, it's for me. And there's still moments that like pop up where I'm still angry because I hate
You're
shitty
human.
people.
You're
Yeah, I'm
human.
human and I hate shitty people treating nice people in a shitty way. But yes, I have definitely moved on and I am grateful that I have my life back.
That's dope. Yeah,
So-
don't let it consume you because a little bit of it can turn into a lot of bit of it, and the next thing you know, that anger is gonna fuck up your current relationship,
Yeah.
and then just how you just treat other people too. And then he wins at the end of the day
Right.
because it's from him.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of conversations in Greece and all that about stuff like that, and you just gotta let shit go. Like,
Yeah.
it's just the best.
And so
thing.
much easier said than done,
Yeah,
of
for
course,
sure.
too.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Like
You don't wake
100%.
up and it happens. You don't wake up and oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm over
But
this
all of a
motherfucker
sudden,
now.
like you're kind of like, damn, this shit's gone. Like
Yeah, and
you
it's
know?
one of those things too, like with addicts, you cannot force them to get help. They will get help when they want it. And it's the same thing with us when we're heartbroken. Like we will let it go
'Cause you're
when
mourning.
we're ready to. Yeah, like
But
grieving,
you're
mourning.
mourning.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Like, trust me, same shit. You're basically grieving.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and but you're angry grieving, right?
for
so,
sure.
but it's still grief. So you got to go through all of that, and it's like you're never gonna forget about somebody that you love that died. So you're still gonna have that in them, in you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But you're grieving. It's just like.
Now you can control it.
We had the
You can
conversation.
control it.
So
You
remember,
can
I was telling you,
control it now.
I
Yeah.
went through that. So
Because
it's
the
kinda
hardest
like,
thing with as a loved one, as an addict, or just anyone going through a breakup, the hardest thing you will ever do is grieve the loss of someone who is still
alive,
alive.
yeah.
It's-
yeah, I know.
And
Yeah.
people don't see it as grieving because they're alive, and people don't realize that it's a form of
Because
grieving.
you can
because
reach
they're
out to them, but like with me, I just choose not to. You know what I mean? But you can reach out to them, but I just got to think of them as dead.
Yeah.
You know, that's just
Yeah.
that.
And I'm
doesn't
good at
exist.
that. Like once you cross me, like you are dead to me.
alive.
But with him,
I'm too good at it. I'm too good at it.
unfortunately, at the time, I still owned a business with him. That was fucking torture. Like, and everyone was like, "Oh, it's business. Like, keep it separate." But it was like, no, it wasn't
The
business.
dude
it
told
was
you,
personal.
yes. The dude told you he didn't love you anymore.
Yeah, like,
everything goes out the fucking window.
Oh yeah, we started our company to build our life together, and for me to be able to run our company from home, and in the future, like be able to be a stay-at-home mom type of deal. And it was like I built that for us.
Okay.
It was 100% personal. Was not, and so when people were like, "Oh, you got to keep business aside," like, no, I'm way too fucking emotional to like.
Turn it.
It was so personal.
Well, it's almost like you're what?
The label.
Oh, it's almost
Turn it.
like you lost it though. You lose it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's almost like you're not thinking straight. You're just common sense kind of goes out the window. Like when you're in love, all this shit like just changes. So if you're really in love, you
Yeah.
know what I mean. So it's kind of like you don't have a lot of control, even though you're trying to control yourself, your emotions, and all that shit. So
Yeah.
I get it. It's just, and then having a business with them, it had to have been like crazy.
It was awful.
And how long did that last?
From betrayal to the day he wrote a check and bought me out, it was 8 months long.
Fuck, that's a long time.
Yeah. Well, honestly, it took so many months for me to get to the point where I was like, okay, I don't want to be a part of this anymore, because I was fighting for like, I started this company, this is mine, and so it's like I was fighting like, how do I keep it to myself? But it wasn't my passion. It was an HVAC company. I'm not passionate about HVAC.
And it wasn't worth the fight for you.
No, like I'm good at running a company, but like I'm not passionate about AC and refrigerators. Like, let's be real. And so it took a long time for me to get to the point where I'm like, this is not what I want for me. And then after that, then of course it's a long process of then getting out of a business. So it's I mean, anyone can just walk away and shit on it, but that's not who I am as a person. And then even when it came time to like training the next person who was going to be the admin of the company, I didn't want to fucking train them, but my lawyer made me. He was like, if you expect to get paid, you have to train someone to
run it.
make the business continue to be successful. And it's like, oh, that's a hard fucking pill of pride to swallow. Like, I didn't want to fucking do that.
That had to have been a brutal 8 months.
It was so brutal.
Even having to train the person and all that, I couldn't even imagine that. I'd be like sabotaging shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But then
Oh
she's
my
lo-
God.
but
Well,
then
that's
she's
what,
losing but then
yeah,
she's
I mean,
losing
that
out
was
on
the
money.
thing
She's gonna go broke.
too. Yeah, and it was
Yeah.
it was hard too, like say calling all of my suppliers and all of our other companies that we worked with and like putting a smile on my face through the phone, like, hey, I'm training this person. They're gonna be your point of contact from now on. Be like, oh, why? But like, and sometimes I would tell him. I would fucking tell him. I was like, yo, Thomas left me for another woman. Like, I opened his dream company. We got up to 300 clients, and then it was like, oh, thanks
That's a
for
lot
the
of clients.
success. Oh, yeah, and so quick. I mean, our company fucking exploded
work
so
for me?
quickly. I'm really good at running a company. And people know that. I get phone calls all the time to run other HVAC companies, and I'm kind of like, I left that industry for a reason, but it's always,
HVAC
you know,
companies
another
make a
option.
lot of money, though.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And But yeah, and then sometimes I just tell the suppliers, I didn't give a fuck. I didn't care who knew my business or whatever. I was like, yeah, he left me for another
Fuck me
woman.
over.
Yeah, and they were like, oh shit.
So with this new relationship,
Mm-hmm.
do you think that you're bringing anything with you from your previous relationships into this one? Is there anything you can think of, like, hey, maybe I should cut this off a little bit, or dye this down,
Or the way
anything that you should cut, like cut the fat? You know what I'm saying? Like, is there anything you
Such
should
a
do?
good question. Like, honestly, I've done so much growth myself being single for like over a year before this new relationship came in, where I'm just trying to, one, not ignore flags.
I was about to say that. So what
Like-
about flags? Are you noticing any flags with this person?
I mean, no one's perfect, so it's like there's always going to be a flag.
Yeah.
But how you
How red is it?
communicate, yeah. But how I mean,
Like Rico.
but
Yeah,
but how you communicate and just like, hey, like these are my triggers. These are my boundaries. Like this is what I'm not taking in my future relationships. Like it's work. It's fucking work always, constantly. But I'm someone where I've never casually dated someone or even gotten into a relationship with someone unless I knew for sure I could see like a long-term future with them. Like I don't date or call someone my boyfriend just for a couple months and be like, oh, it just didn't work out. It's like I know.
You see something in them.
Yes, exactly. Like if I see something in you, like you know, and we're together. If I didn't see something with this person, it'd be like I would have stopped returning your text messages a long time ago.
How long has this
Yeah.
relationship been going on? The new one.
7 months.
7 months?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it out there in Hawaii or
Yeah,
California?
in Hawaii.
Okay.
Yep.
Damn.
So so tell us a little bit about it.
My new
Do
relationship.
you want
I, was,
if you want to talk about it?
I wasn't
That's up
expecting
you.
to talk about my new relationship, but
Is he watching? You get some brownie points right
yeah,
now?
probably. But no, but I'm like, I did want to talk more about my book this time around. But no, it's
Oh, yeah, for sure.
it's great. He honestly is the most amazing dad ever because I love kids. I don't have kids of my own, and you know, I have so many friends who have multiple baby daddies and they weren't blessed with great ones. But he is the best dad ever, and I think that's also why I fell so hard so quickly. Like, he's an amazing dad.
So in this, in the
yeah, well,
guy before, did you guys plan on having kids?
So, yeah, that was a part of the deception too, where I'm a planner and I try to be as realistic and not impulsive as possible. So, like, I was like, okay, we started our business and then we got engaged. And I'm like, I wanted to build like a very strong foundation in our company.
You told him you wanted a family.
Oh, yeah. And then it was like, then let's have kids. Like, let's not have kids right away.
Planned it.
Yes. Like, I wanted to be financially stable.
First,
Make
yeah.
sure I can work from home so I don't have to, like, worry about childcare in the future. Like, I had it all planned.
She's about to be the Real Housewives of Hawaii.
Yeah.
Shit.
I had it all planned.
Housewives of Honolulu.
Yeah. So when that was taken away from me, obviously I was devastated.
Yeah.
And then, because, yeah, he said he wanted kids with me.
Mm.
And then I remember one time we were having a conversation after we broke up and it was about kids. And I was like, you told me you wanted kids. And then he said to my face, he's like, well, I do want kids. I just don't want kids with you. It's like,
That guy
God,
was
like,
just dropping bombs on you.
like, like
Yeah.
as if the knife wasn't in deep enough, just fucking
When did,
jabs
when,
like
did, when did
this.
the verbal and everything started? When did like
Like, yeah,
moment,
what
was
exactly?
it?
That's a good idea. What
'Cause
happened?
It's the honeymoon stage. You know what I mean? Then it's the
Were you guys
the normal
arguing?
fights once in a while.
Like, what happened? Like, what made him say this? Like, the first thing where you're like, what?
Well, we were engaged, and then so I think like the
Engaged?
countdown.
This fool was
So
just,
everything was cool until the engagement.
Everything was always cool, but here's the thing: he was never even in love with me when he proposed to me.
But you didn't know at the time though.
No, I did not know it at the time. And you know how a lot of women will get pregnant to trap a guy?
Yeah.
He thought if he proposed to me, then it would change his feelings, and then all of a sudden he would be in love with me. It's like,
Okay.
no, you idiot, that's not how it works. But no, I think once we were engaged and there was a countdown to the wedding date, he was getting more like, holy shit, like I can't do this. Like,
So the arguments and everything started getting worse after
oh, we
the
never
after-
argued. We never argued.
this shit is wild. This,
So-
guy, this
okay,
guy's
so-
a
No.
moron.
Okay, so then business engagement.
Business engagement.
And you guys talking about having kids.
Yeah, in the future,
in
like years later.
And then when was it that first argument when you were like, wait a minute, I didn't-
So like, how did it come up? Like, hey, by the way, I'm not in love with you.
yeah.
Okay, so, and it's in my book, but he was in love with someone else the entire time.
Ah, side chick.
Yep. And
Fuck that puta.
so he, oh yes,
Oh, yeah.
I wish I could say her real name on here, but I cannot. But
Whatever you want.
no, I can't.
This is
say her
House
real
Over
name.
Baz.
Yeah.
We do what we watch.
I gotta catch you first.
He called her.
In front of you?
No,
Oh, I was about to say.
while he was at a job that I had scheduled him to be at. He called her to see what she was up to, make sure she was single, curious if they'd want to get back together, make sure she was available. So he had a relationship lined up. They spoke for 10 days.
She knew about you.
Oh, yeah. And I didn't think she did, and I'll get to that in a moment. But they were speaking for 10 days, and then we went to an AA meeting, because that's what we do.
Fucking shit.
Oh, so he's an addict. So okay, but rewind a little bit. So
Yeah.
he was an addict when you guys were already getting engaged.
Yes, when I met him and we got together, he was sober for many years, and then he relapsed in our relationship.
You
And then
accepted
later
it
got
and
sober.
everything, and you stayed with him.
Yep,
And
I think that's the jail and the rehab part. And then when he was sober or allowed to move back to Maui because he was on probation, so he was
Okay.
stuck on another island for a while, I had our company up and running in 3 weeks. And then, so he's sober this whole time now. And we went to an AA meeting one night, and then we get home and we're laying in bed and he has the TV on and I'm like curling up next to him because like I'm a cuddler, like I just want to cuddle. And he's like not cuddling with me, and I'm like, can you cuddle with me? And he was very just like just give me my space. I'm like, I'm not asking you to turn off Rick and fucking Morty. I'm just asking you to put your arm around me.
stop being gay.
Yeah. And then
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I meant happy. You know what I mean?
and then that's when it happened where he just like snapped, and I'm like, why don't you want to cuddle with your fiance? And he was like, I'm not in love with you.
And in the bed, and that's when that
Yes. Yeah. And then even after that, he still wanted to ignore me and watch fucking Adult Swim. And I'm like,
What the lights? You didn't sit up. The lights didn't come on. The covers didn't come off.
yeah.
Like
You know what?
we're talking about this
Couple
shit.
weeks before all this happened, and again, because remember, he's talking on the phone with her, like, behind my back. I
Right.
don't know about it. There was a time where I'm walking naked in our room and I'm standing in front of the TV and he's literally trying to look around me to watch the TV. Like, if that doesn't fuck with your self-esteem, I don't know what else
That
does.
shit's
When your
crazy.
fiance doesn't even want to have sex with you.
I mean, little,
And then
little sugar.
when I found out about
Maybe he
her,
got really happy when he was locked up. You know, maybe some things.
Shane. Hey.
maybe
Yeah.
Maybe he was.
found out about her, I was like, oh, this poor bitch, like I got to give her the benefit of the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Like she must not know that we're engaged. I had found naked videos of her on his phone. And so that's when I called her to confront her.
Oh,
and I was
shit.
like, do you know that I was like, did you know that we were engaged? And she's like, yeah.
Just
I'm like-
cool. Just cool, huh?
I'm like, well then what the fuck are you doing? Like you're coming in like a
She
wrecking
said, "Oh
ball.
yeah," like
Oh yeah, she knew. She goes, "Oh, I can't help the way I feel. Like he's my soulmate."
she
I'm
was
like,
fine with being a.
then where the fuck
No,
have you been this whole
the
time?
side piece. She was a side piece.
Dang,
Yeah.
that's wild to even say. Like these.
Oh, I was. So then I was blindsided again, just from her comment saying that.
Did you ever meet her or run into her?
No,
or pull up on
never in
her?
person. So because at this time she lived in California.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we're,
What a weirdo! I don't know. This guy just
Yes.
sounds like he's
so
burnt.
he fell in love with somebody that was long
No,
long
they
distance.
grew up together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but she made it very clear that she was not in love with him, and she didn't give two fucks about him when they were like 20.
Yeah.
So like this is 15 years.
But when you
of
got a
not
girl that's like
contact.
riding or dying for you at like all times and all that kind of stuff, like, what are you thinking, dude? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, and it's so funny because he tells people that she's his ride or die. And even though, and she was crying on the phone at one point, she goes, I didn't even know if he was alive. I'm like, bitch, you know if someone's alive or not. Like, you're
can
a
call and make
millennial. You
sure.
can get on fucking Facebook,
Yeah.
Instagram. You can do the digging. And then,
hold on, real quick. We are live on Kick right now.
Oh,
It's our first
sweet.
live. What's going on? I can't believe it, dude. This is our first live on Kick, just so
Nice.
everybody knows.
but yeah, when she was like, I didn't even know if he was alive. And I'm like, no, you know if someone you care about's alive or not. And then she's like, last I heard he was in jail. Yeah, he was in jail. None of your friends, because we do have mutual friends, told you to write him a letter for his birthday, which I had told everyone to write him a letter for his birthday when he was in jail. The little mailman in jail had said he had never seen someone receive so many birthday cards. And like that made me feel good at the time, you know? And then I called her out. Like she never called or gave her condolences when his mom died, of her own alcoholism.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It was so
Like, honey, you're not fooling me.
so you found so he says he's not in love with you anymore. You still stay with him.
No.
So after the bed, Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
I'm not in love with you anymore.
So you just bounced right after that, like
No, it's my house.
okay, yeah,
He
he
left.
left.
That's what I regret though. I let him, because remember, I make his life very fucking easy and very fucking
Just go down the
comfortable.
hallway.
Nope, he lived there for another 2 weeks before he found a couch to surf on. And then when he found a couch to surf on, he still left all of his shit in my house. I'm like, I'm not your storage unit. Like, get your shit out of my fucking house.
But you guys are still like fucking around and everything.
No.
The sob story, he came back.
No.
Oh, so you just cut him off.
You didn't
then
take
at
him
that
back
point.
at all.
Not even a.
Oh, no, I wanted to have sex, but no, he wouldn't have sex with me because
Okay,
then he
okay.
would feel like he'd be cheating on her.
What the? This guy's
Yeah.
like twisted.
And she wasn't even there, like to give him
No.
even ass. Like,
No.
So what was he doing in the meantime? Jerking off or something?
Probably. Oh, I made a joke about this. I don't think I wrote this in the book, but I did post it on Facebook one time where I was like, after everything I've done for you, and then you emotionally cheat on me and leave me for another woman just like 4 months before the wedding. And then I have a sharp tongue, but I was like, he texted me asking me, hey, can I have the Netflix password? I'm like, hold on a second. You're telling me you just got done jerking off to your girlfriend over FaceTime and now you're calling me for my Netflix password? Are you fucking kidding me? Because you better believe I did a background check. Like, I have a successful business, and then all of a sudden this bitch comes in like a wrecking ball. No, I found out she filed bankruptcy because I'm like, why don't you use her Netflix password? She filed bankruptcy because you can't make a living fucking finger painting and gluing macaroni noodles together. I don't have, like, I have friends who are artists and I love, like, they're great at it, but this
Yeah.
particular person I have zero fucking respect
Yeah.
for, so I will bag on her as an artist any fucking day.
yeah, fuck
Like,
it.
I started a
She
company
said
up in 3 weeks.
macaroni.
Macaroni.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
I'm
Give you
like-
props on that.
it's like that third grade shit.
But yeah, like, don't go jerking off to your girlfriend and then call me and ask for my Netflix password.
He's bold. He was bold.
Yeah.
He sounds like he's just. I want to say the.
Well, I
other word,
mean,
but he's
then too,
stupid.
but see that the only reason why he asked that is because he fucked up so many times and you took him back, so he probably thought it was cool. That's how guys.
No, he's never, like, yes, he fucked up with, like, drug addiction, and I always was by his side, but we've never broken up before. He's never cheated before.
That's 6 years. That's crazy. It's
Yeah.
just wild to me. Some people just don't know what they got.
different, yeah.
Until it's you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like, it's a-
selfish.
I wanted to ask you. So if you would, because this girl in the book, the girl that wrote this book, if you can go back and talk, well, not wrote, that was in it. If you can go back and talk to this girl, what would you tell her now?
Run
Fr-
the
from-
fuck away and stay the fuck away. Because that's the thing with, okay, so this other chick who he left me for, I name her Whitney in the book. And what Whitney did was she left him when he was in his 20s, when he was starting his drug addiction. She left him, and then she only came back when he's really good. Me, I would tell someone, like, leave them and don't go back to them. Like, this is always going to be their story. They're always going to be an addict to the core. But, like, don't go back. Like, just when you leave, especially after someone just is so evil and conniving, like, do not go back to that at all. So, like, that's what I would tell my younger self. Like, leave.
Well, what kind of flags would you look for? Like, what would you tell her? Like, what would you look out for? Like, what would she need to look out for back then?
I mean, the drug use is a flag in itself, obviously. But again, also, like, what I've learned is, like, I want you to want me, not need me or use me.
Because your story's kind of different.
not be
Your
used.
story's kind
I
of
know,
different
it
because most people who are in relationships, when it's toxic, it's not drugs. It's them getting cheated on.
Right.
It's other girls, him going out, him hitting you or cussing you out.
Because he has a word called Diarica.
Yours is stupid. Yours is just the only bad thing he did was just do drugs, and then at the end he cheated.
Yeah.
And, well, it was over with at that point.
Yeah.
So it's kind of different.
Her story's different. That's the thing. That's why when I met her, I was kind of like tripping out on the story she was telling me. I'm like, that's not the stories I hear back home.
So he was a good. So he was a good guy minus the drugs, basically. And then two.
Well, he wasn't a good guy.
He's not a good guy.
That's what I mean.
no.
How he treated you, like what I'm
Yes.
saying,
yeah, like he's
he had a-
never.
He didn't go out and anything like that.
No, never raised his voice at me.
That's what I'm
Never
saying,
called
like,
me a dumb
that's
bitch.
different.
Never raised a hand. Like, we did not argue. We were like the chillest couple. Like, we like to go free diving. Like, that was about it. But again, you have to remember too, and you'll read it in the book. Like, A lot of our relationship, though, we were not together because he was in jail or in rehab. Like those are years.
Or high.
Yeah, exactly.
was-
And
he
being
was
high, being homeless, like.
Would you know when was it in the relationship when you first realized that he was addicted to drugs? Like, how did you catch him?
I always knew that he had a problem because, again, when I met him, he was sober.
Right.
But when he relapsed the first time,
How did you catch him? Like, did you like catch him in the bathroom type thing? Or
I
did
didn't
he leave
catch
some
him.
shit
No,
out?
he just told me because all of a sudden he was working a lot of graveyard shifts. He used to be an engineer at a hotel, and then like I worked days, he worked nights, and so we were still very like casually together because we didn't live together. And then anytime he was around me, he could hide it really well. And then one time he was completely MIA for a week, and he never would not return a text message or a
Like a
phone call
bender.
in a timely manner. And yeah, he was on a bender, and then he ended up in the hospital and in a detox program. And so he told me like, "Oh, I relapsed," and I was like, "Holy shit!" And then he went to rehab.
That's when you first found out.
Yep, he went to rehab, and then he went to rehab in like Texas or something, and then came back to Maui, and he was sober for like 6 months, and then relapsed again. And then because we weren't together in the 6 months that he was sober again, just focusing on his program, you know. And then he had called me, and he was clearly drunk, and I went to get him, and then that was the start of like a fucking 2-year bender.
Damn.
Yeah.
What?
Well, I was gonna say, so we don't have to get into your new person, your new relationship, but what did you look for, like the good things that you looked for in a new person that you're dating or you would look to date? What is something you look for?
God, it's so funny.
Because like you're like a different girl from here to now.
I am.
You know?
I mean, what I want is like I just want like a peaceful relationship.
She talks like
I
a
just-
dude. That's all dudes want is peace.
I mean, because I've been
That's
through so
anybody. I
much
mean, well, that's what
bullshit
anybody should
before, like
want.
that. I'm done with that. You know, just like peace. Like and like I want a family of my own. You know, like I want to start. Like I just turned 33, so it's like I want to have kids of my own soon. Like I just none of the drama. You know,
Yeah.
not fixing anyone. That's a huge thing. I don't want anyone to fix. I want a partner. I want us to grow together, but like I'm not here to put Humpty Dumpty back together again.
A
Like,
girl
I've-
shouldn't be doing that anyways. The
Yeah.
man should be having his shit together, and he should be taking care of.
And I
his
will
girl.
say my current relationship, like when we first got together, I'm not used to a man paying for everything and like treating me like a queen. Like he treats me like a queen. I also have always been uncomfortable with people paying for things because my dad, my whole life, would buy me things for this sole purpose to use it against
Throw it
me
in your
later.
face, yeah.
And so I
Like,
trained
I hate
myself
that
a
shit.
long time ago to not accept anything from anybody because they're going to use it against me.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, my current boyfriend, like, he pays for everything. He never lets me take my wallet out. And, like, it took me a minute to get used to it where I'm like, hey, this is really uncomfortable. But, like, I'm at the point where, like, I appreciate it so much and I enjoy it. And if for any reason him and I were not together in the future, in future relationships, I know like that's something I'm not going to settle for. And I'm not that fucking expensive anyways. I'm not high maintenance, you know. I'm like my love language is quality time, so it's like going out to eat or doing experiences. Like I do not like gifts. Don't get me gifts. Also because my house fucking burned down, so it's like there's no
You got
point.
where to
I
put
don't
it.
want to own anything that I'm going to lose. That's just not who I am.
Kind of freaked you out after.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I was always practicing minimalism, but when your house burns down, it really fucking escalates it.
Yeah.
So, but that is something that's new in this relationship that I'm not used to. Is like him treating me like a queen, paying for everything, and you know, like I can hold my own. I make my own money too, but I've always been taking care of men, and I've always been their ATM machine. So
Damn.
that's a cycle that I've had to break.
What's something specific you want to talk about in your book? We even have some book readers that'll read something out of their book if you want to do that.
I mean, I could just pick a random fucking page and I'll read it.
Yeah, but you don't have anything specific that you want the audience to
I
hear?
mean, for the longest time, I felt really alone. And like, I felt like no one understood what I was going through, being stuck in a relationship with an addict. And then I met a lot of people, more so acquaintances, where I'm like, oh, they knew what I was going through. Like, they understood. And I never wanted to feel alone again. And I didn't want any loved one to feel alone. And so that was my message of like, you guys are not alone. And I know exactly what you're going through. And like, my book is for you. And I've had a lot of cool DMs. Like, I had a teenager send me a DM. She's like cutting her mom slack for the mom not leaving like the boyfriend who was an alcoholic. She's like, I can understand now like why it was so hard for my mom to leave this relationship with an addict or alcoholic. And so like that was cool. And then, I mean, I've just had so many people reach out like, you know, my brother's an addict or my sister's an addict, and like no one understands, especially like when we have to cut the addict off. Like, trust me, we're fucking terrified that they're gonna die or that, you know, we couldn't do something to help them. Like, that's our biggest fear, is getting that phone call that they're gonna be dead. And so just people that relate, like they're just grateful to like have a book to read about it. So
in the relationship, when you guys were in it, was there any point where, because usually when the person who's an addict, the person who's with them starts doing the same thing that they're doing, did it ever happen?
Did I ever start using?
Yeah.
No. So I actually, my dad is a severe alcoholic, and I was raised by a lot of men, a lot of bikers. I didn't have a lot of women in my life. My mom was not around to protect me. So at a very early age, I decided I did not want to drink alcohol because I thought all of these people were ugly and violent and abusive, and I wanted to be nothing like them. So I've never drank alcohol. I've never used drugs. So, of course, a lot of people are like, okay, so how does a sober person end up with an addict? Like, no, well, I met him when I was sober, or when he was sober. I was attracted to his sobriety. Unfortunately, he relapsed. Like, I would never meet someone, like, sticking a needle in their arm. I'm like, ooh, sexy. Like, no.
Well, that's a dumb question for them to even ask.
It is. It really is.
Shut up.
Yeah. And, yeah. And also, like, anyone who doesn't understand, you're fucking lucky for not understanding, is how I put it. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's, well, kudos to you, because a lot of people get sucked into it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's,
And honestly,
that's the
and like
sad
I said,
part.
so yeah, I have the strength where I don't drink. And I've never thought or craved or wanted to try drugs, but sometimes it's crossed my mind where I'm like, what is so fucking fabulous about these things that people can't kick it? But it's opioids, and you know, like it's opioids, and it's an addiction, it's a disease. If anyone does not understand the disease of alcoholism, I actually have a chapter in here, because that is one thing about Thomas, where he is a great speaker and did a very good job of explaining to me how the disease is in the brain and the mind of an alcoholic. Like, it's not just someone who just is having a bad day.
Yeah,
and can't
it takes
put the bottle
years.
down.
It takes years to turn
But
into
like,
alcoholic.
it's literally in their DNA. Like, think of it as they're allergic to alcohol, and instead, okay, so I'll go into it real quick. How he explains it.
Yeah, I think it's good if you talk
Yeah,
about that.
someone with a shellfish allergy, say they eat shrimp, and the reaction of their allergy is that like their lips swell up or their throat swells up. That's what happens when they have what they're allergic to. With an alcoholic, if they drink alcohol, it's not like their throat's going to swell up or their lips are going to swell up. The reaction of their disease is their body craves more of it, and their body has to have more of it. So that's the best way I can explain that. But there is a full chapter about that in the book, if that makes sense.
No, I understand that.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're allergic to shellfish, your throat's going to swell up. If you're allergic to alcohol as an alcoholic, the reaction is my body needs more, and I can't fucking stop.
Yeah.
So, because they want to stop. They really do. Their body just physically won't allow it. And that's why the first step, you know, is like admitting like, I'm fucking powerless over this shit.
Yeah, they gotta want it. They gotta want it for sure. Because I mean, I don't know. You could, and I'm pretty sure he's human. He's seen you, like, fucked up. But his addiction was so bad. He was like, you know what I mean? I need this.
And I want to say that too, because people are always like, why did he relapse? Or you know, they'll ask any addict or an alcoholic, like, you were doing so well, why did you relapse? Okay, a fish, its natural habitat is to be in the ocean. Like a bear, its natural habitat is to be in the forest. An alcoholic, they're supposed to drink alcohol. Like, that's their natural habitat. So it's really not that shocking when they're drinking or when they relapse. The fact that they're sober means they're a fucking superhero. Like, they're going against the odds. They're outside of their natural
And
habitat.
it's so accessible too. When it comes to alcohol,
even if you go somewhere,
it's accessible. You know? Anywhere you go, you can. It's legal.
It is.
So it's not like you gotta, like, you know what I mean, go to this part of town and find it. And you gotta know that certain part of town to pick up the drugs. Alcohol,
you know what
you can
people
go
say, like,
every corner.
money is the root of all evil. Like, I don't believe that at all. Like, alcohol
money's not the
is
root
the
of
root
evil.
of all
No.
evil. Like, when people are shocked that they hear that I don't drink, I'm like, what are you shocked that I don't drink poison? Like,
Yeah, but I think it's great that you don't drink because it's like I mean you never even had it, so that's wild to me. I can't say you're the only person that I know that has done
I think I
that.
probably know like three
Really?
or two people that haven't drank. Three,
And a lot of people will be like,
like at all, every
"Oh,
whole
are
life.
you religious? Are you Mormon?" No. Why do I have to be
That's-
religious to not drink poison? Like, how come I just can't be a cool chick who decides not to poison her body and not risk killing someone on the road?
Remember
or,
when
like,
Frank asked you why? He even gave her a look. He was all.
did I
he was
say?
all.
I don't even
He's like,
remember.
I don't remember either, but it was hilarious because you kind of looked at him because I don't want to.
Oh yeah,
like-
because I think Frank also was like, I don't trust people who don't drink. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm
Sounds-
so
sounds
unfucking
right.
trustworthy.
Sounds right.
Yeah, it's like Frank, no fool, you're the one. Calm down, you trunky.
Yeah.
That shit's hilarious. But that's crazy. But the crazy part is like drugs are illegal, but alcohol is legal, and alcohol.
I know.
You know what I mean?
It's probably the worst thing for you because it's easy to be addicted to it.
Yeah.
Now it takes years. You don't turn into alcohol. You don't turn into an alcohol in 2 months. It takes a
Right.
while. It takes a while for you to become an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Because people drink for stress, they drink because they're
it takes a
happy,
while,
they drink
yeah.
because
drugs
they're
is a different
sad.
story. You can become addicted to drugs in
easy.
2 months.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So what's next? I know you got another book you're working on. If that's something you want to talk about, a little bit.
No, I'm not going to tell the title, and I can't say too much about it. But okay, so the first book was all about drug addiction, alcoholism, and of course, there's some betrayal. It's fucking heavy. When I met you, I said my second book isn't going to be heavy, but it's going to be just as shocking and jaw-dropping as the first.
Creeps
and then
in Europe
that
or
was
what?
before the Lahaina fire. So obviously it's going to be heavy also. So the second book, the beginning of it is, I mean, it is the sequel to this. So the beginning of the book is almost the behind the scenes of like making this one come to life.
Uh-huh.
And then it's my solo trip to Europe where you and I met.
He's in the book.
Yes, he is, and it's a funny fucking chapter too.
I'm famous. I just
and then the Lahaina fire.
Frank's in it too.
happens.
Is Frank in it too?
Yeah, I can't
Hey.
remember what I named
Were
him
these
though.
two
'cause I
creepy-
gotta change
these
everyone's
two
name.
creepy men?
Frank's gonna be all happy to be in a book.
When we
You're like
rented quads-
yeah, this midget I met at the
We
play.
rented quads in Greece, and like we got to the house, and Frank wouldn't take his helmet off. Like he
Yeah.
felt so cool that we were renting.
Boy, he was
ATVs.
cheersing. Like we were literally chilling by the pool, and he still has his helmet on. He's never rode
I
anything
believe
like
it.
that
I
before.
believe
I
it.
know,
So he
that
would've-
makes
it sounds
me
like
He
him.
felt like he was
It
so
sounds like-
cool, yeah. And he's all cheersy with us with his helmet on. We're like, "Well, take your helmet off, you weirdo!" Like,
It's some
I'm
swim
like, yeah,
trunks,
so
no
he's in-
shirt,
he's
and
in a
helmet.
book. I don't even know if he knows that, but he's in a book.
he's gonna be all happy to hear that.
Yeah.
That's me, stupid. That's me.
Yeah, so funny.
Did you know a Brandon Rowe or whatever? Brandon. Rowe?
Brandon Rowe, Sigma.
He just put Sigma, whatever that. What's Sigma?
I have no idea.
He put in the chat.
Shout out Brandon. He's still in there.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. I know my daughter says it all the time. Sigma. What is
Okay,
what is
I gotta
that?
Google this shit.
What is it? You know?
I don't know how to explain it.
It's like dumb or is it?
I think
It's,
it's stupid.
I'm like, I don't know.
What
What
is Sigma?
my daughter goes Sigma. I don't know what that means though. Little kids who say that.
What,
is it a good term or but is it like a term of endearment
it's
or
the
like that?
18th letter of the Greek alphabet.
Well, that's the regular Sigma.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that because we
What
say
is
Greece?
what does Sigma mean? Tell me. No, it means something like I don't know. I don't know if it's crack.
Brandon, if you're still
Brandon,
if you're still in here,
is
what
it
does
good
that
or
mean?
bad?
Please educate us.
My daughter would be able to
It's
tell me.
supposed to be good, but I think it's so stupid.
Oh, it's supposed to be good then. Whatever.
Wait,
it is.
what is a Sigma male? Sigma male is a slang term used in masculinist subcultures for a popular, successful, but highly independent and self-reliant
Oh, that's what
man.
they're talking about. You probably. You're probably calling you a Sigma though.
Probably like-
You're. I don't know.
Successful.
Or a Sigma. Wait,
Yeah.
what is being a Sigma girl? A Sigma female is loyal, assertive,
Ah.
and independent.
Okay. That's
She
Call you
doesn't
independent
follow.
woman.
Oh, you know what I do want to say? Because I recently heard this term. I've always been called a codependent, and I would get so fucking defensive because I'm a very independent person. I've always have been. I've never had any other choice. So when I hear codependent, all I'm hearing is the dependent, which is opposite of independent. But I'm like, what the fuck is the co? I just don't get it. I finally heard her name is Terry Cole, and she has a couple books about codependency, but she explained it so fucking perfectly. I am a high functioning codependent, and that means I am emotionally invested in people's feelings, problems, solutions, results. Like I'm overly invested because
So
I
she cares
actually
what people
give a shit
thinks.
about you. Yes. But to finally get like the proper term, high functioning codependent.
I figured that's what it meant when you
Oh
were
my
saying
God, it makes so much fucking sense.
because
So-
you were doing that with him then.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so now that I recognize that, that is something that I take into my new relationship and any future friendships, relationships.
Is that hard though?
It is. It takes practice. It's a muscle to practice to like. I don't want to say like, okay, I can't give a shit, but it's boundaries. Like your life is not my fucking problem.
I had a girl that was like that too, but I was like in high school, and she was like that. How you were talking, how you are, like, and
Because I'm a natural caregiver too.
yeah, that's what she was like. But I was like, I was young, I was in high school, so I'd kind of just hey, I'm done, like
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
that's wild. So how do you feel about that? Like being like,
I mean,
that?
I feel relieved to finally understand like what my codependency was and is, and now that I know what it is, I can recognize it and practice not being codependent and not constantly being invested in everyone else's problems. Like I've got my own shit, I can't be there to save everybody. So.
Is there anything you want to tell the audience about your book, about you, about anything?
What's coming up next?
Yeah, like anything you want to tell the audience.
Well, it's available on Amazon. What I want out of this is I want as many people to get their hands on this book and to read it just so I can help people. It's not about a paycheck for me. I want to help people. I want to let them know they're not alone. Yeah, awareness. And so it's available paperback, hardback, ebook, Kindle, iBooks, all that stuff. But yeah, like I just want to help people and let them know I fucking
you have
relate
female, you have Sigma noted, laugh out loud. Then her name is Yvonne Luna. Do you know her?
to you. No.
Okay.
Hi, Yvonne. Thanks for the
Luna.
shout out.
That's amazing. So you have females watching, liking this.
Right on.
So yeah, I was wondering if you knew any of them though, because we have our own regulars, but we don't know sometimes who's watching.
So do you think you're I mean nobody are you completely healed? How are you now?
It's a great question. Like,
That is a
like
good question.
metamorphosis, it's not overnight. Like,
Yeah.
And that shit changes people. I will say, like, no one can hurt me like Thomas did. Like let's say my current boyfriend did something awful. He could never hurt me as much as Thomas did. And that doesn't mean that I love my current boyfriend any less than, say, how I loved Thomas. It's just there's so much fucking scar tissue on my heart. It's just I will never get that low ever again. Like, I almost committed suicide. I almost drove off the cliff. It was so fucking unbearable. And it's really sad to, like, think about how low I got, but then it's comforting to know, like, I'll never get to that point ever again. Like, yes, people can still hurt me, but it will never be to that depth.
But with you saying that, it kind of makes me think like, have you let him in all the way yet? Because you want to be hurt. Are you afraid to like
No,
actually love him
I
all the
have.
way?
And like I said earlier, where I'm like, I know if I can see something with someone, because if I didn't, I wouldn't be with them in the first place. But no, like I've gone through a lot of therapy and healing, and like I have a journal where one of the prompts was like, what's the worst that can happen? You get your fucking heart broken again. It sucks. You eat a bunch of ice cream. You chop off all your hair. You go on a solo trip. Eventually, you'll feel better again. Like,
meet
it
like cool
sucks.
people on the plane.
Yes, exactly. But like, what's the worst that can happen? Like, I don't want anyone to ever feel
That's
like,
dope.
oh,
That's
I'll
dope.
never be in love again, or like, because it sucks. It fucking hurts when you get hurt that bad. But no, I'm not guarded. If I was, I would have never responded to his messages the first time he asked me out or any of that. Like, I would have known, like, nope, I'm not
slid
ready.
in the DM? What?
Something like that. But island life is a little
Swipe
different. But yeah, no, I'm not afraid to be in love again. I mean, there was a time, of course, where it's like,
In the beginning, yeah.
oh yeah, for sure. Like, you've got to be by yourself. And I used to do that in college. Like, the way to get over someone is to get under someone. Like, nope, that is not what I do anymore. I am like, everyone leave
And
me
you
the
don't
fuck
drink too,
alone.
so it's kind of different for you. You know what I mean? People heal different ways. Like
Yeah, because
going out
you're
drinking.
all right.
Oh
in the
yeah,
head.
I don't
Yeah.
numb myself. That's for sure. I feel all of it. So,
If you could tell the girls anything about
getting into a relationship.
yeah, because you have a different mindset of relationships.
something I've learned is you attract like your reflection.
Who you are is who you attract.
And so like if you keep getting cheated on, like there's something in you that's attracting cheaters, and you gotta like heal that and figure like what that is. And just take time to yourself to like be alone and and do what you got to do for like self growth and confidence to also not seek social media validation. Like
That's
I feel
that's
like a
huge.
lot
And
of
see,
women.
shit like no girls we bring on here.
Huge. Like
Yeah.
from girls.
That's like
nowadays-
number one for
Girls
girls.
nowadays that go through a relationship breakup or something happen in their relationship.
Boom, naked on social
And
media.
they go on social media and post about their relationship, thinking that everybody cares for when you
Yeah.
look stupid.
Like, my God,
and you're gonna go
like-
back to them.
Like be mysterious, you know? Like don't throw it all out there. Like just be fucking mysterious. Go MIA for a little
Yeah.
bit off social media, and then
Well, you traveled. Like, that was dope. You went all over the place.
By yourself.
yeah, by myself. Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, and I just thought of something else too. I guess also like just practice not giving a shit what other people think or say, and like you don't have to be a bitch about it or selfish. Like just it's a muscle to practice, like not caring what other people think about you. And
Yeah.
just being like strong and confident with yourself. And I guess just like finding yourself and then knowing who the fuck you are. Like you really, really have to know who the fuck you are before you then get into a relationship. Because if you don't know who you are and then say you get into another toxic relationship, that's like where it gets even more toxic. Because
Yeah.
you don't know who you are, you don't know your boundaries, you don't know your triggers.
For sure.
So
Yeah, well, we appreciate you coming on.
Thank
Yeah.
you
It
for
was so
sharing.
dope having
I
you
know.
back.
And one day I'm like, maybe one day I'll come on one of the DNRs
You need
with
to.
everyone. But
I
I'm
know
like,
Rico. What?
shit, get a whole blend of different people in here. But
There'll
I'm
probably be a book, Dear Rico, next time you come back.
Right? About men needing to heal.
Someone said, I know
I'm a
Rico.
Rico.
Oh, I know Rico. I'm sorry.
oh my gosh.
But we did run out of time. So if
Right on.
our slogan is Shed the Sheep. So if we can look
DM
at the
me.
camera on 3 and say Shed the Sheep. Ready? 1,
Ready,
2,
son.
3.
Shed the sheep.
How's over Baz. I'm Jacob Casas.
I'm Rico Savage.
Go ahead, just shout out your name one more time.
Danielle Cedar. You can find me on Instagram.
And how
That's
can they
about
find
it.
your book?
Dear Thomas. It's available on Amazon, Books a Million, I think BarnesandNobles.com, Target.com, even fucking Walmart.com. If you got a Walmart gift card, you can buy my book online there too. So
We appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
guys.
How's over Baz. We are out. We'll be right
Peace.
back with Fight Segment.
Yvonne, DM me. Whoever Yvonne is. I don't know who that is.
are we off?
Yeah.
Okay.